It's Heritage Round, of course, and the Swans wearing their uniform, original uniform from 1982. Blighty, you would have looked great in that. Well, let's have a look at the ladder because, as we said, only percentage separates these two sides, and particularly this battle for those last spots in the top 8. The Swans have had 28 goals. They've kicked 28 goals more than Richmond and had 24 less kicked against them.
Have a look at that Richmond one. Go down to number 9. If they don't win tonight, they've got St Kilda and then the Bulldogs next. This is it for them. I think this is the Richmond season right here. If they can't win this, those two games next in line are going to be very tough.
There's a feeling something big could happen tonight. Just to add to the intrigue, Tim Lane joins us to tell us about the teams tonight. And it's Terry Wallace who's pulled a bit of a Swifty, Tim.
Yes, a vintage Terry Wallace surprise. There's one change in each lineup, Hutto. Firstly, the Swans, Heath Grundy, a 20-year-old tall from Norwood, comes in for Ben Matthews. As ever, so much revolves around Barry Hall. But there's a question mark hanging over him, and that is his form at the SCG this year. He's kicked 1 goal in his last 3 games here, goalless for his last 8 quarters. He's averaged less than 2 goals a game on this ground, better than 4 anywhere else he's played. Tyke Kennelly, the Swans will look to for some of those game-breaking runs off the half-back line. And whether they're scoring low or scoring high, you'd imagine they'll be very hard to score against. Now, Terry Wallace's bolter. You might have seen Matthew Richardson come out wearing a tracksuit top. He will start on the interchange bench. We're not sure how long that'll last. They also bring in David Roden, a small player, for Adam Patterson, another tall. So the Tigers are going small. We'd expect Gasper to start on Barry Hall. And Troy Simmons, a very important player for them, obviously, this year. But the Swans are the kings of the clearances, and he will have the job, apart from him trying to sneak forward and kick a goal or two, of breaking Sydney's dominance at those clearances. Well, it's Heritage Round. Football is celebrating the 80s, and no club like Sydney has a right to celebrate the 80s, because tonight here are 16 of the pioneers who left their heartland at Albert Park and came north to Sydney and started the nationalisation of football. A great night for them, a big night for Sydney and Richmond. Hutto.
Certainly is, Tim. Well, Terry Wallace coaching the Tigers, as we mentioned, and Paul Roos the Swans. In fact, game number 100 for Paul Roos. 63 wins if he gets the chocolates tonight. It's been quite a journey already with 1 flag to his name.
Which is...
And that doesn't send a message. Nothing will, Robert.
Look, it's pretty obvious the players like, respect and think Paul Roos has done a wonderful job.
If we had a game of footy, we didn't play anyone, we'd kick a few goals.
This to win the game for Sydney. Sydney have won. And look at Paul Roos' face. As I said, he's copped a lot of flack this week, but he has had the last laugh big time.
People have waited 72 years to see South Melbourne/Sydney Swans win the premiership. Here it is!
The umps, McBurney, Allen and Woodcock. It is underway at the SCG, and the stakes very high for Sydney and Richmond. So it'll be a ball up. Interesting to note the Tigers are wearing the old lace-up jumpers, which Tommy Hafey's team in the 70s began using and all seemed to like, and they continue to use them into the 80s. Goods, that's a very clever kick. Grundy a chance here. Running into Malcheski. And the Tigers are able to escape, but not for long, because Bolton leads the race here. Pettifer comes at him hard. Kennelly. Oh, and he has a man loose. O'Keefe perfectly set up to goal here, and he kicks the first of the night. And this might be one such now. Kirk kicking it clear. Gasper leading Hall to it. Meyer getting back for Richmond. He's lonely though, doesn't have any help. Now he has a little. White arriving. Meyer giving it back to Rains. Good long ball. Awkward for Brown. Johnson there to help him. And the Tigers are a chance. Schultz will line them up. Kicks from 35 and kicks well. To goal each.
As he looks ahead and sees just congestion everywhere. But he did see the movement from Richardson. Gasper, what's he doing there? Now Fosdyke looks up. It's open territory except for one man, O'Keefe. And he can go all the way. A vacant square. The goal beckons. And he finds it. and lands the second goal for the Swans.
Well, that defence and run football of the Swans, just that kick didn't quite get Richardson, and Fosdyke able to clean up, and O'Keefe running really hard forward, sized up the opportunity. Only O'Loughlin was anywhere near the forward line, but he chose a really good option. Have a look at him looking. Great play from O'Keefe. The handballs have actually lifted, so 17-13, so starting to share it a little bit more.
Well played by Simmons, won the push and shove, brave enough to take it out of the air, and Jay Schultz can line up for his second. And it's good enough. Tigers within 3 points.
Terry Wallace, I would imagine, would be pretty happy with the scoreboard. Considering last time they played Sydney, it was, I think, 8-4 at quarter time, and in general play, the Swans would have the edge. But on the board, which is where it counts, you can see the margin much closer. Fosdyke, Kirk, Goods.
Oh, brilliant.
Eventually they find a way. Ablett, who's been quite prominent so far. Hall's coming. And a big sigh of relief.
Pies, you know, there's 150 metres away and 100 metres away. You just wonder whether that grappling can be seen. Hello, here we go.
Malcheski lobbing it on the edge of the square, and
He's got
Grundy. What an impressive start he's made.
He's all right. He's been really aggressive in tackling. As we've called it, they've gone to him. The stats show it. It's pretty legitimate push, wasn't it? Right in the contest, to the side. Some would argue perhaps slightly unfair.
And for his first goal in the big league, and he drives it home for the Swans fourth, and they celebrate with him.
In the pre-season draft, Hyde goes for Polo.
Oh, big win here.
Welcome to Barry Hall. Kirk. So Hall doing a lot of work away from home tonight. Goods.
Guess
He's
who?
got another man on in the pocket.
Grundy.
He's got a few tricks as well. Sets it up to full forward. And O'Keefe. It's the O'Keefe and Schultz show at the moment at either end of the ground. And he slots it through for goal number 3 and the Swans fifth.
Jolly and Simmons and Goods. Brilliant Goods. Now, can he ram it from 50? Having missed from 15, he does. Swans are flying.
The matchups on the bottom of your screen. And there's Phillips. It's a rousing reception. Now there's some jumper being held on. It didn't matter. Barry Hall will kick it anyway. They're cutting loose.
If I was one of these young Tiger players, I'd stand 10-15 metres off this pack and come through at 158 miles an hour.
Brett Allen
Didn't need to. Got an easy free kick.
wasn't the ball up umpire. He came from the mid-zone, and he's awarded this to Nathan Brown, who is being held at bay by Craig Bolton.
Right there, Craig. Right there.
Will it be third time lucky? He's had 2 goes, 1 snap, 1 set shot, and this is a very good kick. And Richmond broke the drought. Kept his head, makes it tough for Roden. Kane Johnson.
Well done.
Foley held, no free kick. Hyde, good player for Richmond this year. Cracker, that is a free kick. High tackle, Tigers ball, and in the last 80 seconds, chance to set something up.
Now Polo takes it. It's a vacant square. Richo's deep. I think he's got the confidence to go himself. It's a very valuable asset, confidence.
This is White.
Yes, that wasn't the greatest kick to haul. It just moved around in the air, Tim. One of the old wimmer banger we used to call it.
Will just closing in there on White. He's gone a long way. It all became too much for him. He made a signal to his teammates. He wanted them, and none of them were looking. You don't reckon it was too far?
Well, he's stiff. He's now counted. Let's see. When does it start?
5, 6.
About five
Well,
steps.
so the whistle went right on the bounce. That's the point. He did go a long way, but he almost beat the whistle with his bounce.
Well, it's going to be Grundy going for his second. And going for it inside. Over 50 stoppages in the first half. Snyder's loose here. Again, Ablett just hesitated for a moment. Gee, Tandling could have been rewarded. Wasn't. Kennelly, Hall and Gaspar. Oh, Grundy! It must be his birthday, surely.
Was how good that mark was there.
Wasn't it a beauty?
To Kennelly now. Grundy's up at half forward. Dempster's pushing for him, creating the opening. Barry Hall was actually the target, and eventually sanity prevails. O'Loughlin's back in the square. Can he do it? Little Phillips waits down, but O'Loughlin doesn't give him a sniff. You reckon he'd be smiling and happy, not angry?
How good is that? Coming back.
And the Swans are marching on.
Dempster. Roberts-Thompson running forward. Swans playing some good footy in this quarter. O'Loughlin again. Way ahead on points, and if O'Loughlin kicks this, he is going way ahead on points. His second of the quarter. All the Swans. Phillips, Bevan. It's the right spot for it. Schneider and Hall and Polo arriving hard. Did it well. And set it up for White. To shoot hard by Richard. Swans really working now. And Jolly got back and worked well there to make the spoil. Down to Kennelly, to Schneider. And here they go again. They're starting to work the ball around as they did at their best last year. Delivery to Goods. Hall goes in short. Opens things up behind him. O'Loughlin roving as Phillips and popping it through for another. Horror quarter for Richmond. Haven't kicked a goal. Sydney have absolutely carved them up. Now Roden.
Hit him. Yes.
And a chance for a late goal as Patrick Bowden can line them up. The two Bowdens have been adding up to something more than the sum of the parts this year. Without Joel, it's been a quiet night for Patrick. But he makes a mark here with a good kick after the siren. The Tigers' only goal. What was a pretty ordinary on their part third quarter. They trail by 46 points at the last change.
It's finished up. It's just it's a hard kick for goal. You know, go to the front of the square. It's almost like there's no plan to do that.
First tuck and then Johnson. And now Schultz in the square.
Kirk's down and hurt.
And it was just touched on the line.
Brett Kirk's been KO'd. Oh, this doesn't look good. Oh, dear. He was out before he hit the ground. Such a courageous player.
Close, yeah.
Let's have another look at that ladder. There it is. Swans in sixth place after this victory.
119.
With the Saints still to play tomorrow.
Collingwood's win today didn't do Sydney a whole lot of favours because it maintains that log jam in front of them. It's one more body they have to climb over to get to where they want to go.
But as Malcolm pointed out, that percentage boost puts them like 4 ahead on percent ahead of Collingwood, so that might help as the rest of the season continues.
Well, keep it. It's in front of West Coast and probably Melbourne too, so the two teams above them.
So, play resumes after an unfortunate incident. Unfortunate for Brett Kirk in that it was Shane Tuck, who is such a powerful kick of the ball, and it was the power in that leg that contributed to the degree of the injury. Good attempt there by McVeigh, but the Tigers now have the crumb and are able to work it around. Oh, Delidio left vulnerable. Richards rushing him. Dempster and Sydney applying the pressure again. That's a badly placed kick from Dempster. And comfortable for Patrick Bowden.
Might have time to get down to Neil Cordy.
Yes, Brett Kirk had regained consciousness by the time he left the ground on the stretcher, and he was responding to the words of Nathan Gibbs, which is a good sign.
Thanks, Cords. That is welcoming news. Welcome news. 45 points the difference, and the 50-metre penalty paid. Bowden goes for Brown and White. Tivendale leading up the ground, tambling down there as well if it does hit the deck. And it may well with a kick like that. Roberts Thompson, some heavy body work. Now here is tambling, surrounded by Swans, and thus had nowhere to go. Well done by Meyer. That's a good tackle, and it might produce a scoring chance.
Dragged it in. No, it wasn't in the back, and you held it to the ground.
Let's have a look and then judge for yourself. Takes possession of the ball, goes to ground. Is he really trying to get rid of it? That's what the umpire had to consider. His teammate didn't make it any easier for him.
Well,
tough call.
I haven't seen not one of those played not holding the ball, so I don't know what the... I mean, not the issue whether you agree with it, they pay it.
So Meyer does what he has to do and scores a goal. And you can hear the response.
Don't they love him?
It's like a batsman after a century, isn't it?
Walsing McCosker. Roden almost found his way out of that.
It's interesting that, you know, I'd actually prefer him to stay with the doctor and keep calm and all that. But I mean, Brett Kirk's an old, senior player. He's a leader of the club. He's been very outspoken on the Nick Davis issue on behalf of the team. So he's obviously made that call himself and said, well, I want to get out there. And more credit to him, or, well, I think I'd be having a little sleep.
They're all warriors that go out and entertain us every weekend for 6 months of the year, but he just personifies the word. He'll be back. Maybe not tonight, but he'll be back soon enough.
Well, what it does, and it sets up the, I guess, the medical staff to say, look, he was good enough to go back out. And they play actually next Saturday, so he's got a full week's recovery. It's not as though it's a 6-day. So that'll be a question asked most of the week. Will he be fit enough to play?
Teddy Richards does what Barry Hall asks him, and that is kick it to him. But a few Tigers to negotiate along the way.
Richmond still working. Richmond free kick.
50 metres. Against you, Ty. Talking.
Ty has just one for the night. He makes it 2. Good kick.
Path cleared. No, it's a poor kick. Straight for O'Keefe. O'Loughlin's off the leash at half forward. Mickey O with 3 Tigers around him. And that is copybook stuff to put a full stop on his night.
Three second-half goals for Michael O'Loughlin. That was disappointing for Richmond because they've been working hard and just getting some reward on the board. But suddenly they've given one away. And here are the Swans again, although they're beaten by the bounce. Kellaway takes it wide. Buchanan leads the race. That's a clever kick.
Look out.
Just hung in the air a little long for O'Keefe's liking. The defenders enjoyed it. McVeigh
Move, son, move, otherwise you'll go again.
They're pretty hot on those.
He's good O'Keefe, isn't he? Have a look at that, he knew. Kellaway didn't let him down either. Just got a piece of him.
Ablett fisting it forward for Richards. Clever bit of soccer. Oh. Buchanan, no! What a beauty! Well, we've seen some pretty good soccer played on Australian football grounds in recent weeks. Aaron Davies springs to mind, but Eamon Buchanan showed that he was burning the midnight oil during the World Cup too.
Now, I'll tell you what, I know the World Cup's finished and Italy have won good on it, but you know one of the great things about Australian rules is we can do it with an oblong ball. Come here and bring all those Italian World Soccer Cup champs here, they would slip on their bum and do that. Just to finish on Grundy, we've given him a fair belt tonight in his first game, but as we look on, that he gets a different opponent next week. They said himself.
It's all over. Big win to Sydney. They look good about it. Cheer, cheer the red and the white. Honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While the loyal sons are marching onward to victory.
Heath, when did you find out you were in the team? You're a late replacement for Ben Matthews.
Yeah, Friday morning, so not much notice, but yeah, no, it's good.
Any nerves?
Oh yeah, since then just till the game, so.
Didn't look like it though.
Oh yeah, I wasn't expecting to get too much of footy, but no, it's good to get a couple of touches, so yeah.
And you feel like you can cement a spot? You've kicked 3 goals on debut.
Oh, I don't know about that, but yeah, I'll try my best this week and see how we go.
Thanks, well done.
No worries.